This is a brief demonstration of how to use the Cicero Wiki and also the Cicero NeOn Toolkit plugin. Both the wiki and the plugin can be used to keep track of discussions between the developers and the users of a given ontology. The tutorial consists of two parts. In the first part, we'll look at the functionality of the Cicero Wiki in terms of its ability to provide access to discussions between developers. In the second part, we'll demonstrate the functionality of the NeOn Toolkit plugin in terms of its use as a means of annotating discussions to various elements within the ontology. This is the start page of the Cicero Wiki, where you can access the wiki or download the latest version of Cicero in order to install it on your own site. As you can see, there are already 2 NeOn-related discussion projects. For the purposes of this tutorial, we'll use the discussion project relating to the NeOn glossary of processes and activities. On the start page of a discussion project, you'll be presented with a short introduction to the objectives of that project, and you'll also be able to see the latest discussions. With the Add Issue button, users can start a new discussion. However, let's first have a look at an existing discussion. This page provides a summary of the subject of the discussion and also to possible solutions to users' problems. You can see whether this discussion is still active or whether a decision has already been taken. In order to see the complete discussion or to make your own contribution, you need to go to the discussion page itself. At the top of the page, the subject of the discussion is repeated. You can reply directly to one of the contributions by clicking on the corresponding Reply button. As you go about editing your new contribution, you'll see the contribution to which you are replying at the top of the page. You'll also see a box where you can specify the type of contribution you would like to make. For example, if we're replying to a solution, we can give arguments which either support or object to the solution that has been offered. Now let's just suppose that we want to dispute a proposed solution. If you're not familiar with the various types of argument available in this context, you're provided with a summary at the bottom of the page. Once you've entered your own contribution, simply click Reply. Now you'll be redirected to the discussion page where you can see your latest contribution. When contributing to a discussion, you're automatically added to the discussion's watch list, meaning that you'll receive email notifications as more contributions are added to the discussion. You can add or remove yourself from this list by clicking the Unwatch tab at the top of the discussion page. In the second part of this tutorial, let's describe how you can establish relationships between elements of an ontology and their relevant discussions. These relationships can then be used for looking up discussions from within the ontology itself. In doing so, we'll assume that you've already created an ontology project and an OWL ontology in the NeOn Toolkit. The first step is to install the Cicero plugin. Its latest version is available on the update site of the NeOn Toolkit. For this purpose, go to Help, Software Updates, Find and Install. Having done so, you can now choose which particular feature you wish to install. The Cicero plugin is available under the Collaboration category. You will, of course, be asked to confirm the license agreement before you can install the plugin. After the installation, restart the NeOn Toolkit. With the toolkit back up and running, you'll now have to activate Cicero support for an ontology. This is done on the Argumentation Settings property page of the ontology. Simply copy the URL of the corresponding discussion project from your browser and paste it into the input field. That's it. Now discussions related to this ontology will automatically be added to that project in the wiki. OK, let's assume we want to annotate the discussion from the first part of this tutorial to elements in our OWL ontology. First, we select the element which should be annotated. Then, in the context menu of the selected elements, we click on the Annotate with Issue action. As before, simply paste the URL of the discussion overview page from your browser. When confirming this dialog with OK, we have to provide a login and password in order to access the wiki. The login is required in order to check whether the URL points to a valid discussion and whether or not the user has sufficient access rights to read that discussion. After providing the login, the issue gets annotated to the ontology elements. If successful, a browser displays the annotated discussion. The process of creating new discussions from within the toolkit is very similar. Again, select elements about which we want to discuss with other developers or users. Then, from the Context menu, simply select the Create Issue action. After entering the title and the subject of the new discussion, click OK. The new issue is now submitted to the discussion project in the wiki. It's also annotated to the previously selected ontology elements, after which the newly created discussion is shown in the internal browser window. Now, we've already annotated two different discussions to elements of our ontology. These can be used to retrieve discussions that have relevance for specific ontology elements. To do this, select the ontology elements and then, from the Context menu, choose the Show Issues action. Now, the plugin will gather the annotated discussions from the selected ontology elements and all of their parent elements. In our case, the plugin will show us the issues arising from the ontology reuse and ontological resource reuse classes. To see more details relating to a given discussion, we can select and open it in the internal browser window, where, of course, we can also make our own contribution. For more information about either the Cicero Wiki or the Cicero plugin, please use the available online documentation. This can be found in the NeOn Toolkit's Help section. Go to Help, Help Contents, Cicero Plugin Manual. You'll find all relevant support documentation here too.